Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. I'm my buddy Rhett here. I got her nut. I'm in a big hurry this morning because it was a 3-day weekend and I got a very late start this morning. I think I was just taking it easy. I just sort of not. I was still in vacation mode, but I have to start work in just a couple minutes. npm start, just make sure everything starts up. npm run test. And I think, and let me go ahead and just drag in my uh, index.html from my coverage, and we will dive in. Everything's at 100% except for this very last one. It's kind of coincidence that it happens to be the last one. And we're moving through, and we're just kind of working our way from the bottom up because basically we have a lot of complex issues going on. So here's a function. It gets the farthest right. That is its job. And then it does this sort of loop, and it kind of sets one to right, and then it kind of keeps increasing the position as it finds a new one. It sets right to 0, so sort of initializes right to the 0 position. So basically what it's doing is, let's see, are we up and running yet? Yeah. So we'll go over here, localhost 4200, because that's the default port for Angular, and we'll add a viz, add a viz, add a viz. So I believe that that's what figures out, okay, what's the next spot? And it's basically looking for the farthest right. Now, once we go here, it goes to the next row, and that is part of like some other code that does that, that determines. And I think it uses this farthest right to figure out if there's any issues. Now, one of the problems with this right now, just the whole thing is coded in a weird way, because what you have is like it doesn't care if there's a gap. So that's probably something we'll want in the future. Maybe not. There's just no telling. But at this point, like, so let's say you come in here and you say, okay, let's just turn reflow off. So right now it sort of reflows every single time, but we come in here and we delete the second one, right? And then we go back here, see we're still here. And then if I hit add viz, see, it doesn't realize, oh, there's an empty spot that would be available. And maybe that's what I would want. Maybe I'd want it to, instead of finding the farthest right one, to actually find the next available spot. Who knows? Now we have this reflow concept where I believe it now, if I add one, the idea is that it would place, I don't know if it's, I think what it did was it actually just slid everybody to the left. And I believe that's true, because I think it's because I'm going faster that Rhett's being a little bit more active than normal, because this was the last one added. So, and I think if I were to go in this view, what we would see is, no. Oh yeah. See how this is the last one? So reflow just kind of moved, like you see how this one's going around and around real fast, and then this one's going. Now if we go back here, see that one's, you can kind of tell which one is which one. Love you too, right? So is this get farthest right? I think it's a beautifully written set of code, but I do think it's a bit of a dinosaur the way it is right now. And I've been putting a lot of thought in it, and I guess that's kind of the idea of unit testing. Now, I don't think organizations want to pay you to sort of go through sort of this journey that I'm going through. But unit testing does give you the opportunity to stop and smell the roses, I guess would be kind of a good American phrase for that. Because this sort of whole scheme, which is very clever, right? It's just like go through, find the rightest one, and then you can kind of, through inference, determine that, okay, the farthest right one would be this because we just kept integrating. But it's, and I think that that kind of comes from like the old Atari days, when you just had a very limited amount of space and you didn't really have compilers, so the way you wrote the code actually had a massive effect on performance. I do not believe that that is the way it is right now. I think most developers either have grew up in that sort of world where the code, the way you wrote the code, truly affected the performance. There wasn't like a transpiling that did a bunch of optimizations and stuff. Like I don't think that existed, and most of us grew up through a pre-optimization sort of phase. But I do think that now things get optimized, so it's really a lot better to optimize the way you write your code for humans. And humans, we like narratives, and we want to be able to read it. And this does not read as a narrative. This reads as like blah blah. Okay, set right to 0, yada yada yada. You have the farthest right. Okay, let me dig into this. And I would rather this be able to read like in a narrative format, like a story. And so, and I was thinking about it all yesterday, and I think what I want to refactor this code to be like set right to 0. Now get sort all of them from the farthest right to the farthest left, and then get me the first one, which is still like a little bit of a like a yada yada yada, but get me the very first one because since I sorted them from the farthest right to the farthest left, the first one is the farthest right, and then find out what that's right position, determine the right position of that, and then add the width, and then that's the next right. And actually, we just figured out that this should probably be get next right, not farthest right. Um, so um, so let's go ahead and find this one and do and get farthest right. See, even that, like I call it next in there. So get next available left. Okay. See, that is reads right correctly. Get next available left, but then get farthest right. Get, I guess that still makes sense. Get farthest right. But really what it is I don't like the name, but I think it's the best name I can come up with. You know, like there's plenty of words in the English language. I just don't like the name, but it's the best name that we use. And I guess get farthest right at this point is that. So let's go to that definition or go to implementation. And so if I was going to change it, I would just change this to get next right. Maybe it should be like get next available right. Okay, let's do that. Get, let's see if we can do this. Next available right. And so what should happen, and we're just doing this just to show. So since I did this, it should tell me where things broke. It looks like there's 2 broken things. I think that's what it's telling us. And visualization service on line 216 and again on line 254. So we can hold the control button down and click this. It'll take us. So we'll change this to get next available right. And this may not read right. So it wouldn't surprise me if we end up changing this in the near future. And I'm going to hold the control button and push this. Like when we go back and we're working our way back up, it wouldn't surprise me if we end up deciding, okay, this doesn't read right as a narrative, but get next available right. Anyways, it is 8:57, so I have to start working 3 minutes. So happy Monday, everybody. I hope you all had an amazing, if you're here in the States, which I guess is unlikely, I hope we had a 3-day weekend. We were off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Last Thursday feels literally like a year ago to me. So got to come back, go log into work, have a meeting at 10, my stand-up meeting, and then get rolling. I have a whole bunch of PRs. Maybe they got touched, maybe not. You know, maybe I have comments and things to fix. I'm not sure. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.